All right, so today we get to talk about some material that's actually not really covered in your textbook to a large extent. We'll be talking about social influence tactics. Now, one of the best books that I can recommend for this lecture, if you want to read about this stuff in more detail, is this book, Influence, Science and Practice by Robert Cialdini. It's very easy to read. He's an entertaining writer. And it's actually available in Joyner Library if you want to go check it out. But Cialdini did some really fascinating research for this book, part of which involved him going undercover as a used car salesman to see what sales tactics the other salesmen would use, the more experienced salesmen would use to try to influence their customers to make a purchase. So these strategies of social influence that we'll be talking about in today's class are really commonly used in a lot of different types of advertisements, especially these as seen on TV ads that you'll see late at night. And they'll also be used by salespeople. Anytime somebody is trying to influence the decisions that you make, you're likely to see some of these tactics used. Now, what I'd like to do to start us off is to actually show you a classic example of one of these advertisements that uses a couple of the influence tactics we'll be talking about today. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here. And let's see. So is anybody familiar with the Pedi Paws, this pet nail trimmer? Okay. So, all right, here we go. So this, like I said, this one uses several different influence tactics that we'll talk about in just a minute.
As a pet owner, you know that trying to trim your pet's nails can be a problem. But now, pets all across America are putting up their paws because they want to get Pedi Paws. Pedi Paws is designed to give your pet a perfect pedicure in just minutes. Look, regular clippers can press down on sensitive nerves and leave nails jagged and broken. Plus, they can cut into the sensitive tissue inside the nail, causing harm to your pet. But with Pedi Paws, you have perfect control, so you get perfect results. The smooth rotary action ensures a proper and gentle filing. Plus, the protective guard holds the filings, so there's no mess to clean up.
As a veterinarian, it's very important to me that we don't cause pain. And it's very common when you do cut the nails to cut it too short. With the Pedi Paws, it guides you so that you're not likely to cause any pain.
Pedi Paws smooths out sharp and jagged edges, so no more scratches for you. And your furniture and floors will still look new.
Pedi Paws, I mean, the nail fits right in there. You can't go any further. And the dog doesn't try you where he does with the regular nail clippers. A much better way to do it.
So why not treat your pet like one of the family and give them the ultimate at-home grooming experience? Call now and get the Pedi Paws for your pet for only $19.99. That's less than one trip to the groomers. As an added bonus, you'll also receive the amazing Shed Ender, the professional pee shedding tool for dogs and cats. It removes shedding hair trapped in the undercoat and makes their top coat shine. A $15 value, yours as a bonus. Just pay separate shipping and handling. That's right, you get both for only $19.99. But you have to call now.
All right. So like I said, we'll come back to some of the specific strategies that were used in that ad in just a minute. But we'll begin by talking about influence tactics that appeal to our desire to honor commitments that we make and our desire to act consistently with our previous behavior, right, to be consistent. Now, these are two motives that seem to be really deeply rooted in human beings. If you make a commitment to another person, you might be very worried that you'll be viewed as dishonorable or something like that if you back out of that commitment and go against your word. And the same goes for being consistent. Somebody who says one thing one day and then changes their opinion or acts in a way that's inconsistent with what they've said is viewed in kind of a negative light. They might be called a hypocrite or something like that, which is, of course, not good. So the first tactic that we'll talk about is the foot in the door strategy. And the way that this one works is the person who's trying to influence you will start off by making a very small request of you. And the purpose of this small request is to just get you to begin to comply with what is being asked of you. And then the larger request is going to come later on. And so the notion here is that if you agree with the small request, then in order to be consistent, you should want to agree with the larger request later on. Right? And so one of the classic studies that's been done on this had the researchers going to people's homes and asking them to put these safe driver signs in their yards. Right? Now, there were a couple of different versions of these signs. There was a large sign that was really obtrusive. It's a pretty big sign. And if the researchers only asked the participants to display this large sign and they weren't using the foot in the door tactic, only 20% agreed to put this large sign saying that they endorse safe driving in their yard. But let's see what happens if they apply the foot in the door strategy. Now, of course, this is going to involve making a small request first. So what they did in this condition is they went to the people's homes and asked them if they would be willing to display this really small safe driver sign on their door. Right? So this is a smaller request than having them put some huge sign in their yard. Right? And just about everybody agreed to this small request. Doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay, I'll stick it on my door. And then, of course, the larger request, the request for the big sign, comes later on. And what they found is that after the people agreed to put this small sign on their door, and they came back a week later and asked them, well, would you be willing to put this large sign out in your yard now? You can see an increase in the number of people who complied from 20% all the way up to 80% in this condition. So this is a very powerful strategy. And again, it's based on this idea that people want to be consistent with their previous behavior. These people have already made this agreement to publicly display this sign saying that they endorse safe driving. And so accepting the large sign would only be consistent with that prior behavior. So any questions about this one? All right. Now, another appeal to commitment and consistency is the lowball strategy. And this one works by starting off with a low-cost request and then getting the target to make a commitment, like a commitment to purchase at that lower cost. But the catch is that some hidden costs are revealed later on. But at that point, by the time the hidden costs are revealed, the person has already made a commitment to purchase. And they might feel like they need to honor that commitment in spite of these costs that they didn't know about when they initially made the commitment. And you can see this in a lot of different places. On those made-for-TV advertisements, there are sometimes hidden shipping and handling fees, especially if you're buying something like heavy exercise equipment. Those things, they can charge upwards of $30 or $40 just to ship those things to your home. But they don't advertise the shipping and handling costs. A lot of times you have to call them and make a commitment to purchase, and then they reveal these hidden costs. Same goes for dealer fees if you ever go to buy a car. I got to do this recently myself because I just bought that minivan a couple of weeks ago. So I was talking to the salesman, and he got me to commit to buy the van at a certain price. And he was, it was obvious he was trying to get me to make a commitment. He's saying things like, so we're agreed that if we offer the vehicle to you at this price, you will buy it tonight. And so very clearly trying to get me to make a commitment. And then, so I say, yes, we'll buy it at this price. Then they send me back to talk to the finance guy, and they start to reveal some of the hidden costs, like, oh, there's this $400 dealer processing fee that we didn't tell you about when you agreed to purchase at that other price. And I was really happy with the price, so I went ahead and paid the $400 extra anyway. But they really can get you with these extra things. If you're buying a new vehicle, a lot of times they'll say things like, oh, well, the floor mats are extra, or there's this protective undercoating that wasn't included in the price that you were quoted, but it's already been applied to the vehicle, just to make you feel like you're really trapped and you have to go ahead and pay those because you've already made the commitment to purchase. If you're a fan of video game systems at all, you might have learned that a lot of the more modern systems have a lot of hidden costs associated with them, like the Xbox. You can buy the thing for $199, but then that's the version that doesn't have a hard drive that you need to perform some of the functions. You have to pay $60 extra if you want to play online with your friends with your online gaming system. It might not come with a game that's going to cost you extra money. If you want to play your HD system in high definition, you have to buy this $30 cable to use it. So you make a commitment to buy at one price, and then they keep adding on these extra things that you need. Okay. So any questions about this one? Oh yeah, the extra controllers too. It keeps adding up. Okay. All right. Now, another appeal to commitment and consistency is the bait and switch tactic. Has anybody ever heard of this one before, bait and switch? No? So the way that this one works is the retailers will draw people into their stores with some really attractive offer. Some merchandise that's available at an unusually low price. And you see these a lot on those Black Friday sales the day after Thanksgiving. They'll have these doorbuster specials. Well, they'll offer something like a computer for $150. Well, what they don't advertise is how many they have. They might say line up early, get them before they're gone, but they might only have 5 computers at that price. And then you go and you see, wow, there are all these people that have been in line overnight. And by the time you get to the merchandise, it's all gone. Right? But so the catch is that you're drawn in at these low prices, but then you find out that the product you wanted to purchase isn't really available. And so at that point, the retailer will switch it out for something that is available, but it's a less attractive offer. So they use this bait, the amazing deal, to draw you into the store. And at that point, you're there, you're in the mindset that I came here to make a purchase. And so if you're going to be consistent with that, then you will actually buy something, even if it isn't at that really amazing price that you came to try to get. So they might have another computer that instead of $150, it's $225, which is still an okay value if it's one of those netbooks, but not the value that you came in to try to get. So any questions about this technique? Now,